Alright, welcome back to another Stormgate cast. I'm Algorithmore, and this is going to be another ladder game, actually. And this one is going to be starring here in the blue Infernal. This is going to be Kel. And his opponent in this game is going to be Maniachillo in the red Vanguard. Just a super shout out for a minute to Kel. Thank you, Kel, for having public replays on untapped.gg. Because today's game was just yoinked right off of Kel's match history. I was looking around at some of the players with public match history and public replays and downloading any that I thought might look like good games. I've not actually watched this game yet. But I imagine it will be, and so let's see what we're going to see. In fact, for the moment, Maniachillo has been a little annoying. Ooh, but we see a very interesting play there. Maniachillo stayed in there just a little too long with that scout. And those imps were picking away at it, and then as soon as it was trying to run away, boom, split brute in your face, and a couple of fiends take you out. So that is actually going to be a quick early sort of deficit for Maniachillo here, as he's lost his early scout, which in this matchup is often used to just keep an eye on the infernal player, maybe sometimes be annoying enough to steal some of these creeps, and use that to maybe guide your tech choices, decide if you can risk going a command post first or otherwise need to go into unit production out of Iraqs. And we did see Iraqs first, actually, indeed, and that was before the loss of the scout, and we already see Lancer out. In fact, there are two Lancers over here as well. So that didn't quite affect tech choice here. It looks like it was probably the plan all along for Maniachillo to go for some Lancers. And he's up to 3 here with the command post now going down. And at least for the moment, no biokinetics lab to get some kinetic redirect on the way. Instead, these Lancers look like they're going to remain on the creep force for now, before maybe putting on some pressure. That's what I might expect from them. But there is a fiend force. Of course, we saw that first brute getting split, and that looks like another split brute there. We are still on we do have a conclave, yes, so there is a vault into a conclave, but it looks like it was a vault expand here, and fiend creeping. A single fiend is going to get into the base and do a little bit of scouting, take a little look around here, see, hey, you got some dudes on the Ethereum there, you're dropping down a BK lounge, as my friend Frank likes to call it. And it looks like Kel's going to say, hey, you don't got much going on here, so I'm going to run in with some fiends and see if I can get some eco damage here. And they're going to start by trying to get on top of some of the bobs, but no, the bobs overcharge and start hugging each other, which is the secret to life. And long life and longevity is hug your friends, hug your loved ones. It works in Stormgate, and it works in real life too. But right now they're hugging the BK Lounge. Everyone's hugging the BK Lounge. And it is the healing hugs that went out today, as the fiends were unable to DPS it down. It did take a lot of damage there, but it did get up. And it is now being healed up by a couple bobs. And those fiends got out of there, and the Lancers who chased them away are looking pretty tough and ready to go. Do we already have a central command? That means we could do some promotes if needed. And we could, well, we do not have kinetic redirect on the way. It looks like it's not finished, so we're not going to see a push immediately. Often there's a push that comes with these Lancers that try and get into the mineral line there. And the fiends are coming back in, trying to do some damage, and I do like the idea of them going for buildings. Personally, I'd go for maybe this solar habitat, because the bobs themselves are fairly invincible. See, they just turn around and hug each other. And you can You know, maybe take out a habitat. Of course, the habitats can be repaired just as easily as a bobcat. And with only 3 fiends, you don't really have a lot of DPS there. You're just, you know, that they're mostly a scout force trying to see if I can snag something, I'll be happy. Single Exo trying to chase them away along with these bobs. I think those bobs have a job. And the fiends, I think, had an idea what that was too, and they decided, let's try and stop that. Bob's a little annoyed, but their Lancer buddy's gonna come back and say, hey, we got a construction job going on here. No fiends allowed. Those fiends being extra annoying by running way into the back to force these units to get out of position. Of course, that would be useful if there was a push incoming, but it just helps to also keep them, hey, if your next step is to go do some creeping, you know, you have to walk a little bit further around to get where you're going. And Maniachillo here sent one of his sensor drones. Is that what we call sensor drone? Yeah, sensor drone. Here it is. Scout out the main. What do we have going on for Kel here? He's actually creeping out this energy camp, but it looks like he's on a very low number of units. He's gone tech, it looks like. He is going fast into Spriggans. He's got his Shadow Cleft on the way. This looks weird. It makes me think the Conclave is low in life. No, it's the Shadow Cleft here. That sensor drone still sensing. And we got a third base up. So, was it, you know, it looks like because there's a lower unit count that this is an eco play. It is to a little bit, but it's more of a tech play. I think this was more of a faster teching up to the Greater Shrine, getting those Shadow Clefts out, and being straight into Spriggans, while at the same time using leftover Luminite to take this double base here, which is starting to get saturated. We also see a lot of workers here on Therium. That's to fund the Spriggans, because earlier on in the game, to get that much Therium to go through those tech upgrades, you definitely need Therium. And the Spriggans are out, and they're joining a small Fiend and Gaunt force, while the Lancers and Exos are also on the map. Now, it looks like the Spriggans may have scouted that or spotted that, because they did pull back. Although it's not clear. Maybe that was just a little bit of a deke, a little bit of a juke. But it looks we might have an encounter now, because both players should know where the armies are, given the capture of these camps. Again, capturing camps is public, which is something that has been debated on the Discord, is that, you know, maybe capturing camps should not be public. The hero Hexen comes out and says, leave my imp alone. That poor imp gets splattered into some guts. Ooh, imp guts, worst kind. And now we have the engage. It's a lot of Gaunt sort of serving as a front line. A couple brutes there. The Weaver, sorry, also taking some of those hits, but it looks like Kel choosing to retreat because he needs a few more brutes to show up, and indeed they do. There is also a Vulcan here. I didn't see the Vulcan show up, but the Vulcan is being focused by the Spriggans, and we see a second Vulcan also get focused down. And well, the Lancers are doing a pretty good job of the Gaunts in the back line there, but the Spriggans are pretty much uncontested now, clearing out the Exos. The Medtechs will be next, and then there's just some Lancers who are sadly going to try and run home. But yeah, there's nothing you can do, Lancers. You're gonnered. So these Spriggans are going to win the day in terms of that battle, in terms of the tech. But Maniachillo here, you know, not dissuaded, on to 4 bases. And also just going down for some more production. Basically trying to get back into this, very close in supply. So this still could be a comeback for Maniachillo after losing that initial fight, but there are Spriggans in his base. We see a reinforced go down, if I remember what that's called, reinforced indeedy dude. But there are, you know, it's just a sentry post. It doesn't do a ton of DPS. But a Hornet shows up. The Hornet is going to get surrounded and focused, and it actually gets focused all the way down. The Bobs do not show up to heal it. The Spriggans are going to try and engage with these units here while a Brute gets taken out by this Vulcan. The Vulcan now is easy peasy fodder. But no, the Spriggans turn. They have to fight the Hornets. Hornets just tear through Spriggans. And so they did have to turn and protect themselves. While some Gaunts show up, and then there goes the Vulcan with his death cry. And this little force here now is into the natural. Sniping another Exo and deciding to turn back and say, no, I've got this third base I want to deal with. Bob's here. Bobs are going to go down and turn into Fiends as they're infested by those Plague Axes. And now there's just not enough Bobs to repair up the Sentry Post. And we're going to see all these buildings start to fall. Maniachillo can only hope to maybe build up a defensive army here and defend his natural. But this base is going to go down. They turn to take out... Ooh, and it is sold. Salvaged, or whatever it is called. In this game, I can't remember what it's called. But that means the money is all returned to Maniachillo. I wonder if that also returns the upgrade cost for the... what was it there? A Rampart. Curious if it did. If it did, that would be a full refund. Super good. These Brutes just saying, hey, I'm going to run right in the back. You got a flak cannon? I don't care. We're going to take it out. Even though it's got a reinforced shield on it, that means a bunch of extra armor. Magmadon showing up. He's saying, I'm going to clear these Bobs out. Don't worry, I'm here for crowd control. I'm going to stun them all down. Wow, that flak cannon is taking a ton of damage. But it finally gets taken out. There is a Vulcan and a lot of Exos in the back. And the Sim City is helping to protect them from these units. But the Magmadon shows up and says, I'm going to go full on stomp in there. And actually these units get cleaned up. At least pushed away, I should say. A lot of benefit from the reinforced bubble. Let's do a quick check here. It is a 200 increased armor. That is effectively, if I understand armor correctly, about 200% bonus hit points is how that kind of works. It's not exactly how it works. It reduces damage, but it's as though you got more hit points. So it looks like Kel here has turned back to creeping some camps for the moment as he rebuilds a force, and it looks like waits for this dragon to show up, catching Maniachillo out on the map again. The dragon, ooh, we got tier 3 upgrades making invincible Exos here. The dragon trying to snipe some of them, but waiting for the rest of his army to show up and then saying, alright, bye bye baby. We got a few sticky bombs going down out of these Gravens, but they were for the most part kind of ignored by Kel, which was unfortunate because they did kill a lot of units. There are a lot of bloody splatter down there. Just a single Vulcan left, and that Vulcan's slowed by the binding saliva, and it goes down as well. And that's the second or third time that Maniachillo has lost all of his army. And now this base is also going to be taken out. Everything gets infested by the dragon. We're now going to be getting double Fiends produced as these Bobs start going down. And with that central post down, they're just going to be focus fired, and it's just a ton of Bobs going down, and a snowball of Fiends as we see some Gravens and Exos show up. They're going to try and focus fire down the dragon, but the dragon's a tanky boy. He doesn't really matter. Mind those shots. We got a sticky bomb, but some good micro out of Kel to micro that unit away, and just so many Fiends now. Bye-bye. Look at that, and that's GG out of Maniachillo.